Unsigned 518. I'm here with Jaret Reddick of Bowling for Soup. How's it going, man?
Man, it's going great. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being flexible, by the way. By the way, Andy is the most patient person in the world because I drug him through the dirt to get here, and we
Man.
finally did it.
Yeah, we finally did. I mean, it happens. I get rescheduled on all the time, and I reschedule fucking
Yeah.
all the time. So
Okay, good.
it's just like
That
normal, just
feels
like
good.
totally normal. Um,
Yeah.
but I think what we want to talk about, and we can split off into whatever. But you have a lot of really cool shit coming up.
Yeah.
I just had John of Punk Rock Radar over here, and we were talking about how he curates the playlist for Punk Rock Museum, and was talking about his involvement with them, and it kind of got me thinking. I'm like, I'm gonna just reach out and see
Yeah.
what's up. So I guess you've got the tour with Frank Turner, American Hi-Fi. You've got a stint coming up at the Punk Rock Museum. You have so much shit going on. So I guess
Yeah.
tell us what's
It's
happening.
crazy. Yeah. Yeah. This week, actually, I'm heading to the Punk Rock Museum. I do it twice a year for a few days. And so I'm coming in, going into Vegas, and Thursday, I'm doing a show at the Hard Rock with Thomas Ian Nicholas, sort of like a warm up to the WrestleMania thing. And then I'm at the museum for 3 days, and I'm doing 2 tours a day. And then one day I'm doing an acoustic show. One day we're premiering a movie made by the guy that signed Bowling for Soup called Heavy Healing,
Oh wow.
which is about being in a band and touring with chronic illness. So I have ulcerative colitis and I have some mental health stuff, depression and anxiety as well. And then they're doing a book signing on Sunday, and I'm going to host that. And so it's a busy weekend in Vegas. And then yeah, as you mentioned, Australia with Frank Turner, the UK with Frank Turner, and then summer into the fall with Simple Plan and 303 in the States. So tons going on.
Now, when you go out and do like the tours of the Punk Rock Museum, is it just like, do you have to do like a ton of studying for all the, or do you just kind of know, is this shit just in your blood where you're like, oh yeah, and this is this and this and this?
I no studying. I mean,
Nice.
this
I
is a
love
true
that.
story. The first time that I did my tour, like I showed up 10 minutes before I was supposed to start, and Morat, who's the guy that does all the talent there, and he's just this British punk rock dude, and he walked me through just to basically show me which way to go, and he mentioned a couple of things as we went through, and then yeah, man, I just got to my first tour and I just started walking through, and I was real honest with him. I was like, hey, I'm seeing this like you guys, so if you see something cool, point it out. And honestly, man, now after I've done, I guess I've done 20 over 20 tours now. I still say, if you see something, point it out to me if I miss it, because I still see stuff all the time. You're never gonna see it all, because somehow they managed to save. They found people that saved flyers and album advertisements and things. I mean, it's wild there when you go. So again, I see stuff every single time that I've never seen. But I just love it, man. It's sincerely my home away from home. I love the staff and the bar, and just walking people through there and telling them about the Descendants, and yeah, and like when I started listening to Green Day, and they're like, what? I wasn't even born yet, and it's that kind of thing. And then you get to the point where I've got a gold record in there. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, and I wanted to say, it's one of those things where I was like, getting excited for this conversation. I wanted to kind of be like, it's someone that I've been listening to since I was like a little kid, but then I'm like, I'm like your age. So like,
Yeah.
I was like
And
22 when your first album came out, but I've been listening, since that long.
yeah.
But I know a lot of, people that are like young that came up with your music to be able to go to a fucking place where they can talk to you and
Oh yeah.
experience things through your eyes with you. That's just
Yeah.
gotta be such a
Oh
buzz,
man.
man.
It's awesome. And sometimes, like, they especially when I get like an audience that is super into it and they're asking questions and things like that. And then, like, it's almost like we develop a rapport, and it's fun for me. I certainly like those I certainly like the audiences that participate better, but everything's kind of has its place. I mean, one of the things is like one whole room is pretty much all the bands from um oh shit, why am I drawing a blank? The punk rock movie. You know, there's three of them. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but
It's
I'm an old stoner. I'll
son
never
of
remember. Like,
oh fuck no, it's you know what it is. It's the fucking Decline of the
oh
Western
yeah.
Civilization.
Okay. I wanted to say
So
Sour
one
Days.
whole room is just basically those bands, and so like I could talk about just tell them about things from that movie, because the Darby Crash is in there, then he's sort of like predicted that he was going to die early, and he did, and that was the band that Pat Smear was in, and so there's things that I sort of just recognized my first two or three times through there, and now I kind of have my thing that I do, but I do change it up a lot.
Now, I speaking of changing it up, I guess I want to kind of switch gears. Like the initial reason that I reached out was, for Punk Rock Saves Lives, what you do with them and the mental health. Like that's something that's like super important to me. Is like getting rid of the stigma and to
Yeah.
be able to recognize when you need help
Yeah.
and feel comfortable asking for help and feel
Hmm.
comfortable for recognizing when someone so that's originally why I
Yeah.
reached out to you. And then I got so excited with all the cool shit that you have coming up. But
Well,
no, go ahead.
yeah, man. I mean, I think that's the thing. It's that like the stigma is actually the reason why I started sharing in the first place because a friend from here who happens to be a therapist who was in a band called Slow Roosevelt back in the day. He did a project called Louder Than Stigma, and I had never talked about my mental health stuff ever. And because I'm the happy guy, and I was really really worried about it being this thing that backfired. Like, oh, the guy, oh, what, you got a couple of hit songs and you're sad, and I was just oh, you gained some weight, so you're sad, it just I just honestly, I wouldn't say worried. I just really didn't want to put up with that shit, and
There.
I didn't feel like I deserved it, and so and also I was still really just learning to deal with, you know, my issues, so to speak. But once I shared it the first time, I was like, I promise I have a point, by the way.
No, hey,
Once I shared it the first time, then I was like, okay, to my publicist, I'm like, hey, this is going to come out. Please, when you talk to journalists, tell them I don't want to talk about this, all the time. I don't want this to become my identity. And as soon as that Louder Than Stigma thing came out and that interview came out, the reaction to it, I took all that back and I was like, okay, this is helping people. And I mean, just because I talked about it, now this guy's going to get help, and this guy is talking to his wife about it, and this guy is doing this, and this girl's doing this, and and this girl tried to commit suicide and is sharing her story, and all of these different things. And so at that point, it became something to where I was way more comfortable in sharing, and now it's pretty much, you know my whole thing. It's my calling now, I mean, my band is the most important thing in my life, but honestly, I really do sort of feel like I was put here um to be a springboard for mental health awareness, and just to try and share and go, look, I'm the happiest person I know. I really am. I am and if it could get me, it can get anybody. And just like you said, getting people to share, especially men, who are we're from the rub some dirt on it generation,
yep.
and we don't ever want help with anything. Like I just went to Home Depot today, and I could not find this plumbing thing that I was looking for, and I did not ask for help. I conquered it, but I could have saved 25 minutes by asking, but I just, I didn't. And then I'm so happy for you because I love where you're coming from on this, because you're so right. And I don't even know if you realize you said it, or if you're aware of this, but whatever. But learning to listen is so important in all of this, because not everybody experiences depression or anxiety. And it's like one of the things that can happen to somebody that they can't tell you what it feels like, no matter what. Like, I can't, if you've never had the flu, I can't tell you what the flu feels like.
Right.
Chances are you've had it. So when I tell you I have it, I can give you 3 of the symptoms and you know exactly how I feel. I can't tell you what a broken wrist feels like unless you've broken your wrist. I can't tell you what a tattoo feels like. Even I can just try and describe it, but it doesn't work. So I certainly can't tell you what being depressed feels like. And I certainly can't tell you to understand it if I don't understand it. What you could do though is listen and really just be there and offer just hearing somebody and not to fix it and not to ask what's wrong and not to ask what you can do and not, and that's
Because
hard to
sometimes
learn.
that puts fucking pressure. Like as someone, I suffer depression and anxiety as well, and when
Yeah.
someone tries to offer solutions, like
Yeah.
I'm like such a people pleaser that I want to
Yeah.
listen to their solutions, but at the same time I'm like it's making it worse. It's making it worse.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I just need
Yeah.
to draw
Well, the
myself
thing
in.
is that, so I learned in couples therapy that I'm a fixer, and it's something that I've been working on for years, to not try and fix everything that's wrong. If my wife has an issue with something, to not go, oh, well, we can do this, and she has her own mental health issues or whatever. And so here I am, this anxious person, and she's like, oh, I'm not feeling, oh, well, why? What's wrong? What can we do? Blah, blah, blah. And I was doing the same thing that people do, and again, it's out of love, but
Sure.
I had to learn, like, oh, hey, I'm sorry you're feeling like that today. If there's anything that I can do, or if there's another way I can offer you support, then let me do that, but I think we're doing so well with the stigma. I think it's people are owning up to it and going, hey, you know what? This is real. The people, having, these mental health things or whatever, like we're accepting of it or whatever. The thing that I worry, and I don't want it to stop, but I've been saying this recently, is that like I think the it's okay to not be okay thing has become a little cliche. And I'm worried that it's sort of like it's one of those things where it's almost becoming annoying to some people.
Right.
It's almost one of those things. But it doesn't mean we should stop saying it. It just means also that like we need, we have to be able to give explanations of that, of like what we're talking about. What we're saying is that like basically like you could admit that you don't feel good, man. You can tell me, and small victories, brother. You get out of your bed and brush your teeth sometimes, and that's all you can do. You did it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I always say,
I mean,
like my depression manifests as like inactivity. Like I
Yeah,
get
same.
when I get depressed, I can't fucking move. Like I like
Yeah.
can't do anything. And when I was younger, it was like, he's lazy, and it was
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
I found that like if I feel it coming on, the best thing I can do is make sure that my hygiene doesn't slip, and make
Mhm.
sure that I'm getting dressed and getting out of the house. Like, because
Yeah.
it's so easy to just sit and
Mhm.
let it, and that's almost like it's okay to not be okay. That's me when I'm
Yeah.
not okay. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's not okay when I'm in that, when I'm there,
Right.
that's not okay.
Yeah.
So like,
And you know what? But it's different for everybody. It's so funny. I just did an interview with a magazine yesterday? No, Friday. And his depression, he actually likes like gray days, and the sun actually annoys him when he's like in a low tide. And it's so interesting to me because we do all feel it so differently. Because one of the things I always say to people is, go see the sun. You don't have to. I'm not saying lay out in the sun. Just
even
go
just
see it.
walking
Get
out in
out
my
there.
yard will
Exactly.
switch something,
You go
like,
walk out your yard and feel that, and then drink a bunch of water. Feel it like going through you or whatever. Do some breathing and stuff like that. But also, all of that, and then just give yourself grace if that's
Right.
all you do. Because my 2 years, my big, I just for your knowledge here, I started to I got this late in life. I was almost 40, and I went through a divorce and a custody battle, and I had to start splitting my time with my kids, and then I got in a new relationship, and we had a son, and I moved to a different city, and we had to, blah blah blah. All of those things that your doctor says, any one of these could trigger this, and I did it all at
Blow
one
them up.
time, back to back. And breaking up my band,
Right.
to try and save a marriage that was not savable. that I lost because of the band. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. It's because of me and the band, but doesn't matter. So I experienced it so late in life, but yes, inactivity is me too. I could get up, when I had my children, I could get up, get them to school, make sure my dog ate and went outside, and then I was right back in bed in the fetal position until I had to be on again. And I started gaining weight and I stopped moving. I didn't go to the gym anymore, and again, I was just existing. Shows were few and far between because we had kind of put the band on hold, and it was a really, really tough time, but getting out of it, what it meant taking action. I first started talking to my doctor, and then I didn't want to be on meds. My parents are both recovering alcoholics.
Yeah.
My brother's is an addict. And I have ulcerative colitis, so I'm already on medicine for the rest of my life, because of that. And so I'm like, I don't want another thing, I don't want to have to depend on another whole set of shit, but, took about 18 months for me to find the right balance of medication. We fucking did it. And then while I was doing that, I was going to therapy, and that's when, it started with anxiety, and then the depression diagnosis came in, and it was pretty gnarly. And so it took a couple of years, but I and now, like you said, I can feel it coming on, and I just communicate it. I say it to my wife. I say, hey, just let you know, I'm a little low today. There is no particular reason. You did not do anything. I am, I'm not mad or upset. And then I if I'm on tour, I tell the band and the crew, I just say, guys, just let you know, just kind of not feeling great today. And y'all didn't do anything, and I'm perfectly happy to be here, and, so if my body language is such that because if I'm mad at everybody, then somebody fucked up, so, it's like, so I let
you
them
seem
know.
a lot the same, because like I'm the same way. Like, I can get
Yeah.
quiet when I'm depressed. Like, no one's ever gonna fucking guess if I'm mad or not. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
right.
Like when I'm,
Yeah.
I'm an old Irish dude. Like when I'm mad, you'll see it in my face. But like
Yeah. Oh
sometimes
yeah,
people
exactly.
confuse the like, like I'm withdrawn as if I'm angry, or
Hmm.
something's wrong, and
Yeah.
it's like, no man, I'm in here. And like for me, it's
Sometimes
gotten
yeah.
worse. Like, I'll be 53 next month, and on my
You look
50,
great, man. We
thanks,
are the
yeah,
same age. You look
yeah,
awesome.
thanks, brother. And on my 51st birthday, I quit drinking.
Oh wow.
So like it'll be 2 years in, next month it'll be 2 years, and there was no,
Was it an issue or with health stuff or
that's the thing.
with
It wasn't
anxiety?
really. My anxiety's actually gotten fucking, like, it reared its head basically when
Ah,
I stopped
yeah,
drinking.
yeah,
But I really stopped mostly because of heartburn. I have GERD,
yeah,
and
yeah,
like it was not fun to drink beers and deal with the consequences for fucking 2 days. It was like that's
yeah,
what it was. I'd have
yeah.
heartburn, like uncontrolled, like unstoppable. Nothing would stop it for days. So I just stopped, and I realized that. I'm a socially anxious person, and I never had a clue, because
Yeah,
have a couple beers, and I'm certainly not an anxious person.
yeah,
But take
yeah.
that away, and I've struggled to level off.
And that's scary too, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
scary because you look back in the last 25 years of your life and you're like, holy shit, I've been just masking this.
Hmm.
You can't really put your finger on when that started or whatever. I'm the opposite. I mean, I still drink, and I go pretty hard when I'm on the road. When I'm home, I'm not really. We're not, me and my wife are. I mean, we had our time,
Right. Right.
but we
Same
we
with me
we
and my
would
wife, but
we'd rather sit on the couch and just watch TV. And then,
uh-huh.
once every 3 months, we'll drink 4 bottles of wine and binge a whole show in one night. And then we're both dead for 2 days. But,
Right.
it's the same thing. It's like if I go real hard, like drinking, but I'm the opposite. Then I'm really, really anxious the next day. And so I have to be a little bit careful, again, really monitor the water intake and of course this day, at this age, I get my blood work done every 6 months and pay attention to all that shit
Sure.
and you got to do it. But yeah, man, it's one of those things where the anxiety is it's the part I dread the most. 'Cause the depression sucks so bad, but it's just like
It makes
the
sense. The
anxiety.
depression makes sense to me.
Yeah,
Anxiety does
yeah,
not make sense to me. You know what
right.
I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
I'm anxious about shit that I have no idea like what the outcome could possibly be, and in my
Sure.
head it's
Yeah.
already the worst thing possible. And like depression, I'm like, yeah, this thing happened. Now I'm sad. Is how I fool myself. But
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but yeah, one of them
Well,
makes
see,
sense.
I just get anxious about because I don't really worry about anything. I'm not a big worrier. I was as a kid, but I'm not anymore. And I'm definitely not like a worst case scenario dude. I'm definitely more of like one of my superpowers is what's the worst that can happen, and I was taught that by my mentor, but who was a father of my girlfriend in high school, who taught me pretty much everything. And the reason why I could go to Home Depot and get a plumbing part and actually install it was this man. And but he'd always just be like, "What's the worst that could happen?" And sometimes like it could be pretty bad, but that now I find the humor in that. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Oh, I don't know. The fucking boat could sink.
Right?
But I certainly am not a big worrier. But so when I get anxiety, it's almost always for no reason. Like I don't have I'm just anxious.
Yeah,
And
yeah, and mine is it's usually not self-centered, like egotistical, but like it's always like self-focused. It's always like,
mm,
what are people's perception of me? Like, am I fucking up?
yeah,
Am I doing something to make that person uncomfortable? Am I like,
yeah.
even with
Do you go to therapy?
I don't, and
Have you ever been?
I have,
Are you wait, let me ask you, are you married?
yes, been married 10 years. Yeah,
Does your wife go to therapy?
she does not. No,
No, you've never been to therapy.
I went like briefly, like 20 something years ago, um, and I honestly just, and maybe it was probably just the dude, but I like honestly just found that he wasn't helpful. Like,
Oh no, it's a relationship. You
like,
you're allowed to try them out, and you can date, but it's really important. But man, man, I'm telling you this. If you would just fucking go to 3 sessions before you commit to it, man,
right.
it will change your life because what you're experiencing. I'm telling you this right now. I would say this to anybody. What you're experiencing, you can deal with that. You really can. A therapist can help you, and you don't have to live like that, dude. You really don't.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
good to
again,
know.
this is what I do now. I'm here for this, man. Like I'm telling you, if you have the means to
I do.
go because you will walk out of at least that second time you go, you will walk out of there and you will feel an inch taller and you will just go, holy shit, and it's just scary to start, man. And it's scary to start for boys too, especially.
Yeah, and I mean, I've always tried to be someone that jumps at, that takes jumps and does things out of my comfort zone. I mean, even just, this, like sitting here talking to you, like it stemmed from me just being like, what, fuck it, what's the worst that could happen? Like, I'm like,
What's the worst that could
I'm just
happen?
gonna send Jared a DM and be like, hey, you want to come on my little podcast? And you were like, yeah, and I was like, holy fuck. I looked over at my wife and I'm like, babe, like, he just was like, said yes, he's just gonna be on my podcast. And she was like, see, just take risks. So, I think maybe I will
It must have
jump
been the
into
way that
therapy.
you asked. It must have been the way you asked me because I'm in a real big no phase right now because I'm so fucking busy and
Right,
like
right.
I'm like telling everybody, hey, can you please follow up with me later or this or this, but again, however you asked it must have just got me on that day, and I found it to be an interesting thing to discuss, and so
I'm
I'm
a
happy we're
polite
here.
dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, and again, it was the mental health and Rob of Punk Rock Saves Lives is someone who I would really like to talk to, and that's kind of what started this whole thing. Just that organization in general just really fucking gets me. And I know we have, like, I'm in Albany, New York area, and I know we have a chapter here, like a local
Yeah.
chapter. So
Yeah, get out there, man. You get to go to shows for free, and you meet a lot of cool people, and and we certainly need people like you who are who, especially, someone who has these experiences or whatever, and that could, because there will be people that come up and want to talk about mental health, and when they're able to find somebody that has those same kind of feelings or whatever, it feels very, it's very comforting.
Yeah. And I try to be an honest and open human being, not like I wanted to spill like my entire personal life, but I do like to let people know that, I go through this shit all the time, all the goddamn time. And even though I'm like you, the happy person,
we do so much shit in that charity, and just keeping the wheels turning on the vans is just, again, it's so important to me. And I got involved with them over the pandemic, and really it was over the mental health thing, because that's what they were talking about during the pandemic, because
we were all fucked.
Obviously they weren't touring, and so then taking them out on the road and realizing what it was we were actually doing, swabbing cheeks and putting people in the bone marrow registry. And we did 10,000 swabs last year. Wow. And 1 in 500 is a match. That's a lot of lives, that human beings that are still on the planet, and I think it's more than 20. I think we beat the average last year, how many matches we had. So it's a really good organization, man.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, I don't want to keep you too much longer, because I appreciate you just taking time out of your day to do this. You have the Punk Rock Museum to get ready for. You got the fucking tour with and it was funny when you posted that picture of the Frank Turner album. I was like, oh shit, I have that as well, and I have a signed copy of that, and I immediately was like, look.
Yeah.
So Frank Turner's fucking
oh man,
fantastic,
I'm so excited to tour. I'm so excited to finally tour with him. We played together obviously a lot, and he, it's funny, and he knows this, and we're friends. I mean, we're close. But he was I discovered his music at a really crazy time. It was right before all of this with depression hit, and kind of as my marriage was ending, and also kind of at a time where I just wasn't into music. I'd kind of I wouldn't say given up on it. It just really wasn't my thing anymore. I hadn't heard anything that I really liked in a long time, or even just something that spoke to me, and man, I mean, beat one of Love Iron Song, and I just was like, what is happening right now? And I went through that, and then the next album, the next, and the whole catalog and stuff. And I was just like, he really did, put music back into my life. And to be able to say, now, that I have him tattooed on me, and he's my boy, but it's because he's important, his music is just that important to me. And so now that we're touring together, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Amazing. Well, again, it looks like we're kind of running out of time here on the old Zoom chat. But again, I want to thank you so much for your time. It was really cool to be able to talk to you. And anytime you want to chat, now we're friends. So that's
right.
That's how shit happens,
well, dude, hopefully we'll be up there in New York soon. I know the last time we hit Albany was a couple of years ago, I think, but we'll be around, so make sure you come say hi. Bring the lady out on a date night, and we'll all hang. You can watch us drink.
All right, sweet. I'll do. I'm a fucking great DD for my wife. So.
Hey, there you go. All right.
Fantastic. All right, brother. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Jaret.
Thanks, Andy. Take care, brother.
Take it easy. Unsigned518 is produced and hosted by me, Andy Scullin. New episodes are available every week wherever you stream podcasts. If you would like to help support the show, please like and subscribe wherever you are listening, or you could buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/unsigned518. If you would like to advertise on the show, send me an email at unsigned518@gmail.com. And to be a guest on the show, reach out to me through Instagram at unsigned518. Take care of one another, and I'll see you next week.